Understanding global labor legislation. In the global business arena, human resource professionals must act as organizational architects who can navigate a complex and often contradictory patchwork of legal requirements. Understanding global labor legislation is not just about compliance. It is a critical component of risk management and a professional responsibility to ensure the fair and equitable treatment of employees worldwide. Before diving into specific statutes, we must understand that the world's legal systems are built on three primary foundations. Common law, based on tradition and court precedents found in the UK, the US, and former colonies. Civil code, Napoleonic code, derived from Roman law and based on written codes, common in France, Germany, much of Latin America, and even China. Religious Islamic Sharia law, derived from interpretations of the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, practiced in several Middle Eastern and Central Asian countries. Global HR must manage compliance across multiple tiers of authority. National and subnational law, laws enacted by federal or local legislative bodies within a country. Supranational law, regulations from regional organizations like the European Union, EU, which are binding for member states and can override conflicting national laws. Extraterritorial law. These are laws from a home country that follow its citizens or companies even when they operate outside sovereign borders. A prime example is the U.S. Civil Rights Act, Title VII, which can apply to U.S. citizens working for U.S. firms abroad. To create a baseline for ethical operations, HR professionals look to major international bodies. International Labor Organization, ILO, a UN agency that sets conventions binding treaties once ratified, and recommendations, non-binding guidelines. The ILO's core standards include freedom of association, the abolition of forced labor, and the elimination of child labor. OECD guidelines, these provide a voluntary framework for multinational enterprises, M&Es, to ensure responsible business conduct in labor relations and human rights. Navigating global law requires mastering specific, high-risk areas. Employment contracts. In China, a written contract is required within the first month of employment. Failure to provide one can result in the employer paying twice the monthly wage as a penalty. Anti-discrimination. While the US and EU have robust protections for gender, race, and religion, these protected classes vary significantly by country. Termination and employment at will. The concept of firing an employee at will is largely unique to the United States. In most other countries, individual employment is protected by contracts, and employers must show just cause or consult with works councils before any reduction in force. Data privacy. The EU's Data Protection Directive, and later GDPR, imposes strict limits on the collection and transmission of personal employee data, requiring consent and strict safe harbor or contractual clauses for data flowing outside the EU. Adherence to these standards is expected of every certified HR professional. This involves a commitment to truthful communications, the protection of individual rights, and the disclosure of conflicts of interest. Ultimately, the goal is to practice sound management in every country where the organization operates, regardless of personal interest. Understanding global labor legislation transforms HR from a local administrative function into a strategic position. By mastering this legal landscape, HR professionals protect their organizations from litigation and uphold the intrinsic worth of the global workforce.